Hey there, folks. If you're just joining us, I'm going to be joined here very shortly by Abigail Hilton to discuss marketing for writers. So don't go away. If you've got any questions for Abby about marketing strategies, you can feel free to pop them in the group chat room there. On the left side of your screen, you should see a little chat icon. If you put your mouse over there, you can click on that and go to the chat window. It should pop up on the right side of your screen, and then you will be able to post comments like this. So feel free to pop your questions in there for us, and we will address them after we have done our talking points for today's podcast. We're going to go for about as long, however long it takes for us to get through the questions. I've scheduled an hour for this on Google Plus. If we get done sooner, then we'll have more time for questions. So, in the meantime, just hang out, relax, and don't go anywhere. Abby, we will be with us very shortly. And I suppose if anybody has any questions for me, you're welcome to go ahead and post those up on the chat room now. Okay, Abby just says she tried to join and got an error, so send again. So here goes. We're going to try that. All right, and Abby is currently getting online here. She will be with us very shortly. Thank you all for your patience. Figuring out how this whole thing works. She saw me but could not hear me. Oh, the wonders of technology. If anybody can't hear me right now, if you see my lips moving and you can't hear me, I'm going to ask you to make a note in the chat. Oh, there's Abby.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, welcome.
I'm going to shut that so the sun's not my eyes.
How's it going?
Good.
Excellent.
Let's see. I remember this problem before. You're coming, I'm using the Zoom for a microphone because it's got a better mic, but you're coming through the Zoom as well. I can fix that by putting on my headphones, but that, well, you're wearing headphones too, so I guess it's okay.
Yep, it's all good.
All right. Cat is attacking the courts.
All right, we've got some people pinging us in the chat room. Ray Magdale and Chris Moody both saying hi.
Okay. Say something now.
All right.
Much better.
Testing 1 2.
Much better.
All right, and you can hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and officially get started here. Hello and welcome back to the Raven and the Writing Desk. I am your host, Chris Lester, and I am here in the virtual discussion room with author Abigail Hilton. Say hello, Abby.
Hey, guys.
So for those of our listeners who don't know you already, tell us a little bit about yourself and your fiction.
Chris, you're cutting in and out like you completely I heard nothing of the last half of that sentence.
Okay, can you hear me now?
All I heard
Testing
was
1 2.
Oh, wait. Okay. You're just cutting in and out a little bit. Am I cutting in and out or okay?
I can hear you pretty solidly there. All right.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, I'm just getting like pieces.
Let me adjust this here.
It sounds like something might be loose. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so for those of our listeners who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself and your fiction.
I probably my best known series is called The Guild of the Cowry Catchers. I started podcasting that back in 2008, I think 2007, 2008. And I did a full cast production. Chris was a major character in that story. And also Norm of the Drabblecast. If you listen to Drabblecast, Nathan Lowell was my protagonist. And I podcast that novel, and then right about the time I don't know, halfway in, the ebook revolution hit, so I started selling ebooks, and I had sold some audio on my site previous to that. Once ebooks came around, I got into those. I started doing paper. When ACX came on the scene, I started doing audio versions. My most recent epic is Hunter's Unlucky, which you can get on audible.com, and is narrated by Rish Outfield, if you listen to the Dune Steep at all. And let's see, I've got 3 epics on there. I've got The Prophet of Panamandora, which is a solo read. It's earlier work, it's still good, still stuff I'm proud of, but it's not quite as it's not as good as Cowry Catchers and Hunters. And then I've got several short story collections. And right now I'm just about to release The Scarlet Albatross, which is the series that comes after the Guild of the Cowry Catchers. And I'm working on Jaeger Thunder, which is the second book in that series, and I'm about 125,000 words into it, and I think it'll be about 150. So yeah, that's me. Let's see what else. That's not all. I have a comic which I started halfway through last year. Cowry Catchers is being turned into a comic. I've worked for many years with an illustrator for that series. The podcast was illustrated. All the individual episodes had illustrations, and I released a hardback art of those illustrations last year. And now me and my artist are doing a comic. And with the comic, I started doing a Patreon to support the comic, because it was something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I really was worried about committing to the ongoing, never-ending financial obligation of a comic. So anyway, that's when I started the Patreon, and I think that's just about all.
Cool. So you and I started podcasting around the same time. If you don't mind telling us, where are you now in terms of your sales numbers in your different markets? Because I know your audience has grown a lot faster than mine.
I don't know. I mean, I think of you as having quite a big audience, but you don't always feed it, so then it kind of grows stagnant.
Right. A whole period of like 4 years where I was writing one book and not very fast. So yeah, they kind of wandered off.
But an audience, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you were on the scene a little bit earlier than me. You were doing full cast audio before I was, because I listened to you and Dan Sawyer and was like, I want to do my novel like that. The famous last words. Sounds like a great idea. I know sometimes I wonder if I would be making a lot more money right now if I had not gotten into full cast audio, because I would have put that energy into ebooks at least a year earlier. And yeah, that would have been a better time to be in ebooks. Let's see, my audience. I've sold about 12,000 books. And I could pull up my document. I should have known you were going to ask me about numbers. My spreadsheet. It's about 12,000. And my average, I can't remember exactly what my average profit per book is, but it's not 70 cents. It's like $3 or $4. Mm-hmm. And the last few years, probably 2 years, I make more money on Audible than anywhere else. So, because you end up making about $6 per book.
Nice.
I did sign up most of my books, all of the ones that are for sale now, before they went from 50% to 40%. But even at 40%, when they're paying $12 a piece. Usually they're buying them with credits, and then sometimes people buy them at full price. It's still more than you would make on an ebook. And since I started out in audio, yeah, I do a lot of. I have an audience that likes audio. But yeah, I've definitely got a text-based audience now too, and my mailing list is over 1,000 people now. And since I need to do some kind of a poll. Like I really need to. I think maybe I'll offer some of the original artwork as a prize and try to get people to answer me on some demographics and stuff, because I don't know. So who's on that mailing list? People talk to me all the time now that I'm like, they act like they know who I am, and I'm like, hi, I have no idea who you are, but I'm glad you like my books.
Your audience has outgrown your monkey sphere.
That's true. But my podcast is still small because I haven't really fed the podcast in the last few years. I've cut back to one episode a month. I've done a lot of things to keep it going because a lot of old friends are, listening on there, and I don't want to just go away completely. And sometimes I have stuff to give them, like I can give them samples of books and stuff. But the podcast is kind of an 80-20 thing. You'll hear the self-publishing people talk about 80-20, or they're talking about, the thing that makes 20% of the income takes 80% of the work. So I'm managing all these other projects, and I don't have as much time to put into the podcast, but I can't bear to just let it go completely. But that audience is, 200 to 400 people, which is where it's been for years and years and years. So that really hasn't changed much. You've put all of your energy into the podcast, which is ideal for something like Patreon, because if you're already giving something away for free, but you can add stuff onto it, I think that's perfect for Patreon.
I would agree. So what do you think is the most effective marketing tool that you've used for your writing, and how have you used it?
That has changed over time. Probably the single most effective thing I've done is give the first book in every series away for free, which is simple and stupid, but yeah, all of my entry level content right now is free. Because usually once I hook somebody, they'll go through and buy the whole series, and then they'll go on to buy other series. So I am very willing to give something away to get people in the door. Because once I've got them, they're going to go on and buy a lot more stuff. So yeah, the first book in any of my series are free. So if you want to try them, you can get a really good taste, decide whether you like it or not. I even split Hunters out into individual books to do that, because at first it wasn't doing that great, and I was like, this is probably the best thing I've written to date, and it's just kind of plodding along. But I had released the whole epic in a single download because I felt like that was the way the story was best presented. So then I went and I broke it out into individual books. I made the first book free, which did help. But then Audible picked it up for a sale, and that helps more than anything. So now Hunters is made just as much as all the other series, mostly because of the Audible sale.
Nice. And there was nothing you could do to predict or arrange that. That was pure luck of the draw.
That was just them. Somebody over there liked me because they handpicked that list, and there's nothing. Nice. You can't apply for it. You can't, I can't make it happen again. I hope it happens again, but I can't really make it happen again. And COWRY Catchers has also done fine. COWRY Catchers has never been featured in one of their sales, but nothing moves books like them putting a book on sale. I mean, that was pretty amazing. What else have I done? I started playing around with Facebook ads this year. That is really effective for getting list signups. So if you've got a good ad that attracts people's attention, you offer them a few books for free. And for my mailing list, I offer them the first 2 books in 3 series for free. So they can get the first 2 COWRY Catchers books, the first 2 Prophet books, or the first 2 Hunters books. So that's a pretty nice little bunch of stuff. And they sign up, and then MailChimp walks them through a whole automation. So I have 3 different automations they go through depending on which series they come in on. So if they come in through COWRY Catchers, it's going to offer them the next the other Panamandora series first. If they come in through Hunters, it's going to offer them Prophet because that's more young adult. Anyway, it walks them through my catalog in kind of a logical order, because I've got a big enough catalog now that it's a little bit confusing to people.
So when you say that it offers them to them, you mean to buy, or it offers them for free?
It offers them the first 2 books in each series for free, and the way you can host files in MailChimp, so you can send them the download links, and then a few days later it says, did you enjoy those? Would you like to buy the next one? But I think most people actually end up, I don't think people buy books out of those emails. I could be wrong, but I think most people buy them if they're going to buy them when they finish reading it. That's when they click the buy button. And of course, all of that is with ebooks. Audible doesn't let me give stuff away in audio, which is too bad. Also, because of the way that system works, you do a lot better selling a nice big chunk like a series than selling little individual books, because people are buying with credits and they want a deal.
That makes sense. So, what are some marketing strategies that you've tried that were either not very effective or just weren't cost effective, either in terms of the time or the money that you invested in them?
I have never had a lot of luck with any of the ebook promoting the innumerable sites out there that that will promote your ebooks, except for BookBub. BookBub will absolutely move books. It will absolutely pay for its ads, but they've gotten so picky the last few years. It's really, really hard to get them to pick up anything. Like, I mean, you can submit stuff as often as you like. So, you know, but you get tired of doing that. I mean, ideally, if I had a personal secretary, they would be submitting to BookBub as frequently as they will let you, because if you get an ad with them in, I mean, any category, it doesn't matter. You're going to pay for the ad. You're going to move a bunch of books. And if you have series where people tend to go through and read everything you've written, then that's really, really worth it. So, but other than that, like, there's a whole bunch of them, and I just haven't found that they are terribly effective. A lot of them you pay something for, they're not very good. I don't think. I mean, some people say they are. They just don't work for me very well.
But Facebook has been effective for you?
Facebook has been effective at getting email list signups. I have not tried many direct sales on there. It's hard. I think it's really hard to measure direct sales on there. It's not impossible, but you have to watch it more closely. It's obviously more difficult to get people to hit a buy button. Also, the demographic that I tend to have the most luck with on there is a younger demographic, 24 to 30, 24 to 40, I'd say. And a lot of those people, I think they want to try the free book before they're going to buy anything. So I offer them the free books and to sign up to the mailing list. They sign up to the mailing list, they get their free books. A few months later, they come back and buy something. So getting people to sign up for that is much easier than getting people to click a buy button on an author they've never heard of before. And I know people that do have a lot of luck with direct sales there, but they're shopping their books to an older demographic. So if you're writing thrillers that 50, 60, 70-year-olds are reading, if you're writing romance that 50, 60, 70-year-olds are reading, then those people seem to be much more amenable to just buying something if they think they'll like it. Whereas, at least for me, the younger audience, they want to get a big taste of it before they're going to give you money.
Fair enough. So we talked a bit about your mailing list. For those who might be thinking of going that route, how do you get started? It sounds like you've got a very complicated setup going there.
Only over time. MailChimp is free for the first, I think, 2,000 subscribers, but I would highly recommend paying the $10 a month to get the extra features, because the automations are one of those features. So with an automation, you can send anyone who signs up to your list a series of emails that will spread out over as many days as you want. So you can set up the first one and it will welcome them, maybe get them some free books, and then a few days later, a week later, it can send them the next book in the series, or it can send them a different series. If you like this one, you might like this one, and you don't have to like do any of that yourself once you set it on autopilot. So I think it's well worth paying the $10 a month to get the automations, but you don't have to do that. I had a MailChimp account for probably a year and a half before I started doing the automations with it. Just collecting emails is like, definitely should be doing that, because nothing else gets people's attention like an email. You can't be sure if, I mean, they like Facebook. People like finding me on Facebook, but nothing you post on Facebook is going to reach them for sure. And even email won't reach them for sure. I mean, the Gmail has gotten really bad lately about putting all of the MailChimp emails, even, you know, a mailing list they've signed up for, it'll still put it in promotions folder, which has caused problems lately with people getting emails. You know, even Patreon, you send them out a notice. Sometimes Gmail puts that in promotions folder, so you can't be sure, but email is generally the best way of reaching people who have said they would like to hear from you.
Cool. What advice would you give to self-published writers who want to grow their audience quickly?
Something for free. I don't know what else. And I mean, the podcast is free stuff. So if you're trying to get audio people, then podcast is definitely one way to do it. The problem with the podcast that I ran into, and I don't know if you have this issue or not, but people, if you tell them that they can go, buy something, they totally mean to do it, but they're listening in the car, or they're listening on the treadmill, they're listening while washing dishes. They can't immediately act. And that's the wonderful thing about an email is if you send them a link to something they want, and again, I'm not pushing things at anybody who didn't say, I want this. They can act immediately. They're there at their computer. They can click. And it seems like I had a lot of friction with the podcast of just people forgetting by the time they got to a computer what it was they had intended to do.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, we've got some viewers in the chat room right now. If you have any questions for Abby, please go ahead and post them up. Chris Moody had asked how your writing is going. So you talked a bit about you're working on Jaeger Thunder now. Scarlet Albatross is about to be released, or has already been released?
It is about to be released. I've been waiting for a little bit to get my covers straightened out. I need to redo the COWRY Catchers covers because of all of my covers. Those covers, they don't twig adult for a lot of people. People think they're children's books, and they're really pretty covers, but they don't they don't correctly signal the genre or the age group. So I've known for a long time I need to redo those covers, and the Scarlet Albatross and the Refugees books, that next series, they all need to look like they go together. So I've got 2 cover images commissioned for Albatross, and I need to split test them and do all this stuff. So I've been waiting for the cover to be done. I may go ahead and release that ebook soon because I'm getting impatient. I may just give it the cover that I've got, and then do all of my testing and swap out the covers, if it turns out that the other one is the winner. But that book is ready to go, and I've got about half of the audiobook complete at this point. And then Jaeger is still in draft. That has been a very hard book to write, but I am almost done with it. Finally. Yay!
What do you think made it harder than usual?
It's just a lot of characters. It's all the characters from Albatross and all the characters from COWRY Catchers, and I didn't want to shortchange anyone. And then it's this Byzantine political situation, and there's a lot of names. And then there's some new characters, because, we can't just have the entire cast of 2 different books. We have to have some new people. And I was really worried that the plot would be incoherent, and that I would leave out somebody's favorite character or not do them justice, or I don't know, refrigerate the wrong person, or I don't know. It's a convoluted book. But it is actually, I think it's actually going to come out okay. So about the middle, I was like, no, this is just a mess. This is a horrible mess. But yeah, I think it's actually going to come out all right. I think I actually got everyone in. I think everyone said something meaningful. I think. Hope.
Have you seen that thing on Facebook that's been going around about the different stages of the writing process? Stage 1, this is awesome. 2, this is tricky. Stage 3, this is crap. Stage 4, I am crap. Stage 5, this could be okay. Stage 6, this is awesome.
Yes, this book did that. And the sad thing was, Albatross was so easy. It was the easiest novel I've ever written. It just unspooled in front of me, fully formed. And I wrote it in 3 months. Hey, I've progressed as a writer. All of my books will be easy now. And that was not true. That was not true. That was just an anomaly. It will never happen again.
Well, Albatross has the advantage of a small cast, a
Mm-hmm.
restricted environment, and a
Mm-hmm.
pretty simple, in form of conflict.
Yes. Yes, that is true. And all of those things are not true. None of those things are true for Jake or Thunder.
I am having very much the same situation writing The Lost and the Least right now,
I can imagine.
because I've got Kate's plot line going on. I've got Callie and Will doing a major plot line. Um, I've got all the like their supporting characters are all like coming in to play a role. So I've got
And you're
Morgan
like,
has.
you're like, oh no, I can't leave this person as a flat character. I must make them round. Let's give them an arc. And then you're like, what was I
Uh-huh.
doing?
So I've got Morgan coming in, and she's now got this whole romantic plot line with Ava that's developing. And on top of that, I just realized in this last chapter, Callie's got a major computer problem that she has to deal with. It's like, oh shit, she's gonna call Brian Summers. It's
Because
the
there are
only
not
thing
enough
that
people
makes
here.
sense.
There are not enough people here. What we need are some more people. And then you probably need to give him an arc and, some important lines so he doesn't feel left out, a role. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been fun. I've been writing a lot. The finish line keeps receding in the distance. I've written a lot.
I have promised myself this book is not more than 150,000 words. If it is, I'm just going to stop. Sorry, guys.
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Rocks fall, everyone dies. Guess I don't have to worry about the next book.
So we've got a comment here from Dan Abslinson. He says, you guys both produce such great audio stories. Thanks for all the commutes you've enhanced for me. Hours of fantastic story in my earbuds. Thanks to you too. Thanks. Well, thank you,
You're
Dan.
welcome.
That is awesome. All right. So anything else that we should be looking for from you in the coming year, Abby?
I hope I'm going to have a whole bunch of stuff come out. I didn't have that much other than art come out last year. Albatross will certainly be ready soon. I would think Jaeger will be done before the end of the year. And I don't know. It depends on how hard the third book is to write. Like, I think it will be simpler. I know I'm going to send the characters in different directions at the end. We're not doing another book with them all in the same book. I'm going to go in two different directions.
Never split the party, Abby.
Oh, yes. The party will be split. So I don't know. It depends on how hard that book is to write. I keep promising the small group of children who like the Eve and Malachi books that I'm going to write another one of those. It only takes me about a week to write those books once I get the idea. And I'm doing a new short story every month for the Patreon this year.
Sweet.
Because I didn't have enough to write, so I'm letting them vote on the character, and then the $1 patrons get the text, and the $3 patrons get the audio. And I'm keeping these small. Like, these are 600 to surely not more than 3,000 word short stories, and they'll probably be around 1,000 to 2,000 words. And they're about the character of their choice. So Dakar has a story, and I'm pretty sure Basil is going to win the second one. And I'll probably tell the story. I'll probably tell the story of how he and Sylvia met, because I think that'll be fun.
Oh yeah.
They're little vignettes.
You got any convention appearances this year?
I don't. I'm really trying to pay off my student loan in the first half of the year. And so I haven't really scheduled. That's like a black abyss that is yawning that I'm going to fall into. I'm probably going to hate it, but I'm going to stay there until I pay it off. And I I can't see anything beyond it. I don't know. We'll see how I feel after that stretch. Yeah, I'm trying to pay the loan off. Like I can see how I could be at least a part-time, writer with a part-time income, but I pretty much have to be a mostly full-time anesthetist until I pay off that loan, because it's like, house payment. So I'm trying to get that financial obligation out of the way so I can do more of what I like. Just work 12 weeks a year and write books. And I actually did pay taxes on my books last year. So yeah, it's the first year I made money.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Abby, and thank you to everybody who's been listening. Where can people find your stuff, Abby?
They can find it at abigailhilton.com.
All right.
You can find me on all the major platforms, but yeah, go there. And if you want to see how my mailing list works, you can sign up for it, and it will walk you through the automation.
Sweet. I think I signed up for your mailing list before you had all that stuff in place, so.
Probably.
All right. And you can find my stuff at metamorcity.com and chrislester.org. This podcast, The Raven and the Writing Desk, you can find more interviews and a lot of my fiction anywhere that podcasts are distributed, including the iTunes store. Leave us a review there to help spread the word. You can support the Patreon at patreon.com/author Chris Lester. Abby's is, what's your Patreon feed?
It is /Abigail Hilton.
All right.
It's patreon.com/ you say Patria, you say tomato, I say tomato. Okay, I have one question for the entertainment of your fans.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, this is the Ask Me Anything of podcasting. So you know who my favorite character is?
Janus.
Yes, he's not anyone else's favorite, but I love him. He's basically Javert from Les Miserables. So, is Janus a virgin? That's what I want to know.
You listened to the Lightbringer Carol, right?
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
Okay. After that, he's not going to be a virgin anymore. Before that, I'm pretty sure
I want that story. If you ever think for a story request, that is the story that I want. I can't be the only person.
Janus and Candace's first
night
together.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Can't be the only person.
Oh, we got a question from Chris Moody. He says, if it's not too late, is Amazon still the biggest seller? I assume he means for ebooks.
Yeah, because Amazon owns Audible, so it's definitely my biggest seller. Numbers wise, I sell more ebooks, but the audiobooks easily outpace them in terms of income. So it depends on what you mean by Amazon. If you mean ebooks on Amazon, or even CreateSpace is Amazon too. So nearly all of my content is sold through Amazon. I'm available everywhere right now, and I'm kind of regretting that because they just went, Kindle Unlimited. Right about the time I decided to go wide again, they decided to start paying by page count, and I write enormous books, so that suddenly makes Kindle Unlimited skewed, in my favor. But that was right about the time I was like, no, I'm going back to Apple and Kobo and Barnes and Noble and all these places. But I don't sell many books there, so I'm once again wondering if I'm being stupid by being on those sites. But I do sell stuff off my own website, which that's something I didn't talk about. I have a store, a Squarespace store, that is light years ahead of the plugins I used to use on WordPress to sell things. It's really pretty painless. And I make like 90% for digital content I sell on there. So it's a really great margin. And people do come and buy like my regular books on there sometimes. So that's a reason not to be in KU. And for people listening, I assume they know what I'm talking about. If you're exclusive to Kindle, to Amazon, you get to be in the Amazon Kindle Unlimited. It's like Netflix for books, and they pay you by page count. They used to pay you by unit, which didn't work out very well for me because I write large books. But now they pay you by page count, and I'm told that people like me do pretty well, but I don't know because I haven't been on there since they've been paying that way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the store on my site, I can sell audio on there. I mean, I can sell pretty much anything. And it is nice to be able to sell stuff on there. But the other thing you can do with something like that is, yeah, I could go to KU and then just, there's some original content on my website that I don't have anywhere else. So you can always get people to come buy stuff from you that way.
As far as the whole Netflix for books things goes, I would also point out that Smashwords feeds into two of those. One is called Scribd or Scribed, Scribd. The other one, I forget what it's called. I
Went
think it's
belly up. It
wait,
died.
what one?
Oyster.
What? Oh,
Oyster
Oyster died.
died. Yes, it
Okay.
perished. Most of those are built on an unsustainable model. Amazon, I think, is willing to actually lose money on it,
Mm,
because they want you in Prime.
yeah,
Um,
that's true.
but Oyster was built on an unsustainable model, and I don't know about Scribd. I don't know how well they're doing. My stuff through Smashwords is on there, but I don't sell anything there, so I don't know.
Okie dokie. Well, thank you again for joining us, Abby, and we'll see you around.
Take care.